So I am Pepper from Pepper and Cricket Outdoors. We're doing our first gear review. This is the 1100 millimeter Toaks Titanium pot with bail handle. Inside of it is nested the Toaks Titanium wood burning stove. So first things first a word on this. We only use this one time so far, right?
Right.
All right, so I'm not an ultralighter. We're not ultralight people. I realize if you're an ultralighter, you probably don't even bother with a stove. We're not ultralighters. We like a little bit of creature comfort. This is probably about as good as it gets for combining lightweight and still having something that's perfectly functional. We only boiled water in it last time. Wood was a little bit on the wet side. But let me show you how the stove works first. I'm just going to set that to the side. So the stove is a 3-part system. The way it works is get that little sleeve that goes into the bottom, and this whole thing drops into this and sits flush. And the idea is that these open holes at the bottom, when this sits down, draw air as the fuel, the wood in there, heats. It draws air through the bottom. You see the holes on the bottom. And that constant flow of air gets the wood burning hot and gets the wood burning fast, and creates an ember bed down at the bottom that's very hot and boils water relatively fast. Stove is relatively light. We're going to weigh it, but you can see that 100% titanium, really well made, really well joined together. There's no slack in it, nothing loose. 1100 milliliter Toaks pot sits on that nicely. And there's a hole here, a port, so that you can feed wood into this, keep this thing burning, keep it hot. As for the Toaks 1100 milliliter pot, also 100% titanium, small handle. I've heard people in reviews complain about this handle being too small. I've heard people complain about it not standing up on its own. I've heard people complain about the lid not sitting squarely in the pot. I didn't have any issues with any of those things. My handle stays up. I was able, granted I only boiled water, I was able to pull this off with my fingers and set it down. I used a stick sometimes also if it was a little bit too hot to handle. I didn't find that to be too big a deal. What I think is new to the 1100 milliliter is the rubber coated handles, which make it comfortable enough to grip right off the flame without having to use, say, a bandana. That's kind of nice. And of course there's the bail handle, which if you get one of those cool titanium sporks that have the hook on the end, you can use this to lift also. Or if you are an ultralighter or somewhere between an ultralighter and someone who likes a little bit of creature comfort, you can use this to hold, to hang, or on a piece of rope or chain or whatever it might be over your fire, and kind of control your temperature and heat that way. It works well either way. So we're going to put this on the scale, and we'll show you what the 1100 milliliter pot weighs by itself. Then we'll show you the weight of the stove by itself, and then we're going to show you one nested into the other. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to weigh the pot, 1100 milliliter pot with bail handle by itself. You can see that we come in at 5.19 ounces. That's with the lid and the handle attached. I realize the top of my pot is out of frame here. 5.19 ounces with the lid and the bail handle attached. The stove, all 3 sections, 7.69 ounces. So I would just add those together in my head, but I'm not that smart. So I'm just going to nest this. You can see how nicely it nests. That's the 3 pieces of the stove. This is the stove nested inside of the pot. And you can see that without the sack, and here's the stove, without the sack, coming at 12 13.87 ounces. And last but not least, inside of the little orange cinch sack. Now, mind you, the stove comes with a sack. I don't see the purpose of the sack having both. The sack separating the pot, to me, there's no benefit. So with the sack, total of 13.51 ounces. So for a little bit under a pound, you have a cook system that works very well. We were able to boil water in this. Took maybe about, I would say, 6 or 7 minutes, so it's a little bit slower than an alcohol stove, and it's considerably slower than, say, MSR Pocket Rocket would be. But the benefit of this is that you don't have to carry any fuel. Your 13.5 ounces or so, 14.5 ounces, whatever it was, is your total cook system weight. No fuel, no canisters, no stands, just as you see it. Obviously, you don't have to worry about running out of fuel. The one time we did use it so far happened to be very wet in the morning. We were able to find enough kindling to get a little fire going in a short amount of time. So we like it. We do recommend it. We're going to continue to use it and experiment with it. Again, this is the Toaks 1100 milliliter titanium pot with bail handle. Inside of it is nested the Toaks wood stove. Another nice thing is you can also nest the Toaks Titanium 400 milliliter cup inside of this whole thing. Not sure about the weight of that. I don't have it yet, although I do intend to get it. But that's great if you want to have a coffee cup as a part of the system. So this is Pepper from Pepper and Cricket Outdoors, and we are out.